Welcome to another episode of The Story of a Woman. I have the opportunity in this episode to sit down with Renee Ambrose, and I know it's going to be an awesome one. Hashtag I am, I will. But before I do anything else, I do want to say a special thank you to our partners, WEOC, the Halo Foundation, Geos, the Furniture Gallery for supplying us such awesome furniture, our friends at Studio 72 in Antigua, Down West Car Rentals, thank you so much, Les Roy, and of course, saying a special thank you to Simply Coffee and Simply Me for this wonderful piece that I'm wearing this afternoon. I'm here at Devil's Bridge. In the background, Hammock Cove, Antigua. You need to check it out. But let me tell you a little bit about Renee Ambrose. Who is she? What is she about? Well, she is a certified aircraft mechanic, and she's a whole lot of woman as well. So stay with us. The Story of a Woman is up next. Renee, I've been trying to have this conversation with you for 1,000,001 years. I know we've had conversations before,
Right.
but I think this one is even more special because it's an opportunity for us to sort of share who Renee Ambrose is. The Story of a Woman, as you know, is about Caribbean women who influence. And I've put you up there with those women who I think, whether in some form or fashion, professional, physical, beauty, experience, we can go on and on. But you have done a lot, and you have shown that woman is boss.
That's right. I'm truly honored to be honest as well, to be on your top list of women. But thank you so much for having me here, Nicola. I'm really and truly honored to be a part of something that can not only empower young girls but women, because you have no idea how many women, like ageable women, still are inspired by what I do, and I'm glad to be a part of a platform such as this.
So I know some may say, so who is Renee Ambrose? Where is she from? Well, you're Antiguan born and you've done a lot. And I would like to give you the opportunity to tell us a little bit about you being, are you a mechanic or an engineer?
Okay,
A little bit of both?
Well, it's both. I'm certified in automotive mechanics, right? And currently I'm I'm certifying staff at LIAT. So it's considered to be an engineer. It's not just a mechanic, a person that goes and follows a guideline to do a specific task. But I ensure that once I put my signature on the work being carried out, that I'm accepting responsibility for sending this aircraft out, because at the end of the day, you're taught that think about your family. If your family travels on this aircraft, you don't want it to be a case where you do work halfway through and not comfortable with the work that you've done, and then send the aircraft out there with your family members on it. So at the end of the day, having that responsibility, I honestly, I don't want to put a category on it. I mean, it's the job description, but at the end of the day, I'm just happy that being an authorized staff, that I have that responsibility and I've accepted that responsibility. And listen, it took a while for me to get to that point in my life, because I find that I could have been at this position a very long time ago, but I've had a lot of self-doubts and why me and am I good enough? But after a while, and I got comfortable with who I am, right now, you can't tell me nothing.
And that's what I love about you, Renee. You mentioned self-doubt.
Correct.
And questioning yourself.
Correct.
But you're comfortable in your own skin.
Yes, I am.
So not only are you on that edge in terms of engineering and aircraft mechanics and
Right.
all of that, you wear the overalls, you get grimy.
Yes.
You probably look like at the end of the day
Yes.
sometimes, but you're also a model.
Yes, I am.
And you are so comfortable with yourself. You are happy in your own skin. And then on top of that, you are encouraging younger women, girls, to get into the intricacies of learning how to change a tire,
Yes.
knowing about your vehicle, driving a stick shift, which some of us still don't know how to
I'll
do.
sort you out. Don't worry about that. I will listen on my next workshop. I'll be calling you personally to bring you on board because it's going to be an amazing experience.
That would be hilarious, though. But anyway, getting back to you.
Yes, correct.
So let's talk about, the beauty side of it.
Yes. Oh wow. Where should I start? Okay, I can remember back in 2014, I tried out for Carnival Queen. I lost. Well, I went from 230 pounds to 194 pounds, thinking, okay, I got a little bit smaller, so probably I'll be able to be a part of it. But I didn't make the top 7. And it was a case where they said I was too big.
So at that point in time, we were still not embracing fuller figures.
I embraced it, but the culture was not
ready for that.
They weren't ready for it yet. And I said to myself, you know what? Okay, if I can't make it on this platform, there should be another platform for me to do it. And then I heard about the Miss Plus Size Universe pageant that was held in Trinidad. And I went down to represent Antigua, of course. I did not place, but the fact that I could face my fear of being on stage. I've never done pageantry, never. But I said to myself, listen, this is something that I want to do and I'm going to do it. Win, lose, or draw. It was an amazing experience. I met some phenomenal women who I'm still friends with up to this day. Then after that, I did a modeling competition in Trinidad again. Came out on top, of course. Represented Antigua to the fullest. And again, I met so many women that are my size and probably even bigger than I am. And to see that they are also very comfortable in their skin, I said, listen, if I can do it, they can do it, then I can encourage other women, other girls to do it. Because in our society, it's, oh, if you're not a size 2, if you're not shaped a certain way, if you don't have the Coca-Cola bottle shape, that you're not considered to be beautiful. That's fine. Gatorade bottles look good too. All right. So I'm happy that I can use my platform to encourage women, and that's just the region. Then in 2016, I entered the Miss Curvy Idol competition, where women from around the world, out of 100 women around the world, I was chosen to be the top 10, the only person from the Caribbean to be a part of it, and I had used a platform to encourage girls from the Women of Esteem Foundation to talk about how we can encourage ladies to be better versions of themselves, to accept them for who they are, and the anti-bullying and that kind of stuff. And that too I came out on top with that one, and I was very proud. I was not expecting it, because even the journey to get there was tedious, but I did it anyway. I went through with it. And if it's one thing that I love about myself, is that I'm very persistent. Anything that I'm focused on, my husband always says, listen, when you focus on things, everything's just, you will break down barriers just to get where you are. When you get there and you stick your flag down, you're like, okay, next challenge. And I love that. And that is something that I try to teach women as well. Regardless of what it is, don't stop. You can rest, but don't stop. Whatever you focus on, no matter what others may say about it, just keep focused and do what you have to do. And I'm happy that I can use my platform to you.
I'm happy that you're doing that as well, because Renee, you can identify with this. We live in a society now where body shaming and size shaming, it's very jarring. And some use the argument that yes, you may be oversized or a little bit big for your height and everything else, and it's not healthy. We should not be promoting plus size women, because you run yourself at risk of a heart attack, stroke, diabetes, all of that. But then there are big boned, full bodied, full figured women like yourself who are extremely healthy.
Yes. The only thing that I think I have, well, it's generic. I have hypertension in my family, so that's something that I have to look into as well.
And you have no control over that
Right.
to a certain extent.
Exactly. So what
Yes.
I try as much as possible to do is to keep as active as I possibly can. And trust me, if you put me to race, guys, I will still do it because I know that my heart won't give out on me at that point in time. But I try to eat as healthy as I possibly can. I'm not saying that I'm a salad girl, but I try to keep it as balanced as I possibly can. And there's this misconception that, oh, skinny persons are healthier than bigger persons, and sometimes, more often than not, you have smaller persons that are faced with a lot of these health issues. Not broad brushing it across the board, but I mean, if as an individual, it's up to you to take care of you. No one else can take care of you. And if you know you have certain ailments, then you tackle these things head on to ensure that your health is paramount in anything that you do. So size, I don't think size should matter, and we should get away from stigmatizing size and health. So that's what I try to encourage.
So I have another question for you when it
Yes.
comes to that in terms of social media, Facebook, Instagram. Of course, we have a lot of Instagram models who would have special filters. Sometimes what they are online or on the gram or on the book is really not who they are physically and emotionally in person.
Right.
What would you say to those young women, girls coming up looking on in terms of just being themselves? Because it seems as though the likes are more important than who you are and what you represent.
What I can say is, or what I can say to these young women is, try not to get lost in social media and try not to be who you think persons want you to be. Right? I keep on telling my husband all the time. Sometimes I leave the house without makeup, and people be like, "Oh, why don't you have on makeup?" Okay, I have a choice whether or not I want to wear makeup. Makeup is just to enhance what's already beautiful, right? And yeah, it's okay to put on a little filter here and there, but to give that perception of being perfect or
Totally altered.
right,
Yeah.
totally altered, I don't think that is something that persons should do. But I mean, who am I to tell persons what to do, right? But just don't get lost in the likes. Don't get lost in the loves, because more often than not, people are just there just to scroll, like, and pass on. If it's the case where you want to use your platform to show who you are, have a positive message attached to it. If it's a case where you want to speak about health and wellness, use your platform to do that. If you want to speak about fashion, use your platform to do that without altering too much of yourself, physically or virtually. So just be authentically you. When I came on this show, I told my husband, I wasn't even sure if to come and talk dialect, because I don't know if she may want me to talk dialect. But remember, we have right. But at the same time, I I have to take into consideration the audience that we're trying to speak to, and so on, not to lose that Antiguan twang or that Antiguan feel to it, But at the same time, it's still being authentically me, right?
Coming to you from the Devil's Bridge in beautiful Antigua and Barbuda, this is the story of a woman. We'll be right back.
I am woman. Hear me roar. In numbers too big to ignore. And I know too much to go back and pretend. Oh yes, I am wise. Yes, I've paid the price. And look how much I gained. If I have to, I can do anything. I am strong. I am invincible. I am woman.
again, Caribbean women, by extension, women all across the globe,
Yes.
some of us have a difficult time finding that place or that self, that place where we can say, okay, I'm happy with me, I'm happy with self, this is what I do, and this is how I'm going to do it, because there's a tug of war. Because we're balancing a family, we're balancing a career, and we find little time for ourselves. We're taking care of everyone
Everybody
else.
else.
And I think a perfect example may not be you specifically, but look at it. You've got your family, you've got your husband, you've got Liat as a family, you've got those aircrafts as a family, you know, you're doing your thing. And then you also have another family in terms of the girls. Tell us a little bit about that in terms of the mechanic shop, and you've also got a program that you're running at this point in time.
Yes.
So I want to talk a little bit about that.
Oh wow, where should I start? Okay, so it's not necessarily a physical workshop
Yes.
as a space, but I've partnered with corporate persons in Antigua to put on the Lady Mix workshop. Now, why Lady Mix? Mix is short for mechanics,
Yes.
right? So I decided to just do a little play on words with that. And I believe that anyone who drives should know the basics, how things work. Now, as I tell women, I'm not trying to teach y'all how to take an engine out. I'm not turning you into master mechanics.
But you can do that, though.
Oh, well, we'll get there at some point in time. But I want to ensure that they know the bone stock basics. How does your engine run? How does the energy from your engine get transferred to your wheels? Why do you need brakes? How does the brakes work? How do you know when you need to change your wheel or your brakes? These are the things that you need to know so that when you go to your mechanic, you can't say, oh, I hear one noise under the hood. Okay, what type of noise is it? Is it a thumping noise? Is it a squealing noise? Now, being able to identify these noises, it'll make it easier for the mechanic to diagnose your problem, because you don't want to take your car in, you don't even know what to tell him, and then he diagnosed the wrong thing,
Yeah.
charges you a certain amount of money, and then you're like, oh, he expensive, but then you gave him wrong information. So being able to find that level playing field for women and men, because I've had guys at my workshop too, being able to speak to their mechanic, it makes it easier for you on your pocket and also for the mechanic to do their job. So I love that it's an empowering platform, and there are women that reach out and like, Renee, I want to learn to do what you do.
Yes.
Teaching women how to do this. I had an experience where I spoke to a young lady from the Antigua State College, and she said, I'm the only girl in this class, and I know what that feels like, because when I went to study aircraft engineering, I was the only lady that graduated that year, and I always want to learn more from another woman. And growing up, I didn't have that opportunity. So being able to be put in a position where I am that woman that I never had, it makes me feel as though I'm contributing to
Yes.
the next generation.
Yes, you
And I
are.
love that. You know, I mean, I can't teach everybody, I can't help everybody, but at the end of the day, just at least doing something and helping someone is the step in the right direction for where I want to see change happening for my next generation, you know. So
And
I
love
love
that.
it.
I love that. I love,
love
that.
it.
And I'm sure that those young women that you have under your wing for Lady Max, they too are filled with gratitude for you
They are.
actually having this, whether it's a virtual workshop, an actual workshop, a moving workshop, whether it's in your messages, or you have a workshop at a certain mechanic shop, or you're
yes.
on the road, or you're like, okay, let's jump into the Subi today and let's drive.
Yes.
You know, so it's all of that and then some.
Right.
I want to touch a little bit on your highs and lows.
Oh wow.
I don't think we have enough time in this
Yes.
interview, but your lowest point, if you care to share.
Oh wow. There's so many, because
boy.
again, because I'm so involved with so many different aspects or so many different things. In every thing that I'm doing, there's a low point where I'm like, Renee, sure you want to do this? You sure you want to
yeah.
go on? Why?
Why am I doing
what-
this?
Even with the Lady Mex workshop, I can remember when I restarted it 2 years ago, we only had 3 participants in my workshop. So I was saying, Renee, why are you stressing yourself out when no one is really coming? And my mother, who is my idol, who is my rock, my salvation, my mother would say, Renee, don't worry about it. At some point in time, people will realize what's going on and they will catch on to it. And I said, let me just give it a next try. And before the flyer dropped, it was booked out. That was going from a very low point to actually almost giving up on that to actually getting somewhere that I've always wanted to be with my lady mechanics workshop. With my race car, I can remember trying to get from Grenada to Trinidad to take part in an event. And at that point, funds were kind of low because, of course, you don't really make money in this sport. And I reached out to the powers that be with regards to trying to get there. And they said to me, well, we don't see how this is going to impact the sport in Antigua and Barbuda, so we're not going to give you any funds to go. And I called Mom. I said, boy, Mom, this looks sticky. I'm not going to be able to make it to Trinidad. And she said, how much money you need? And Mommy just made it happen, right? And I came back being the best female racer for that event in Trinidad, you know, and waving my Antiguan flag. And my mom was there, and Jodian was there, who is my mechanic. And being able to go from almost giving up with that to actually
victory,
right, you know, and not only for me or for my team, but
for your
for Antigua and Barbuda. And I think that a lot of the times we take for granted the persons who actually go and represent our country, or persons who are willing to go out and do their best for self and country, you know. And I think that's something that we have to really, really look into, because it gets really depressing when you know to yourself you can do this, but then you're not getting that support that you really need. With regards to Liat, I love that place, but sometimes there are times when you're like, Renee, why are you even stressing over certain things that you can't change? You know? So, but I'm happy. What makes me happy to go to work every day is that I can help other persons be better at what they're doing. They would come and they say, Renee, what do you think about this? Or how should I approach this situation? And that makes me look at what I am doing and be like, okay, well, Renee, if you can give this kind of advice to persons, take the advice and you'll see how much better it is for you. And again, that's the low point bringing you to victory. So at the end of the day, whenever I get to a low point, I don't, even though it's really depressing at that point, I know there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and this low point is what's going to propel me into something bigger, something greater, something far more than I would have really anticipated. So my message to everyone listening is, okay, yes, you're at a low point. Don't stop. Regroup, breathe, and then you just push harder. Just push harder. And you know what push means? Pray until something happens.
Yes.
And you can't expect to sit and think that, people are going to do this for me and people are going to do that for me. Yeah, it's great to have persons assist you with whatever that you want to do. But if you don't put in the work, then you can't
You're not going to get the results.
Exactly. And I'm happy that I've had a great support system and great family members that would say, listen, don't worry about anything. Even if you have to go to sleep for 3 days, hibernate. But just know when you come back out, we're going to push harder to get you where you need to go, and you have to push harder to get where you need to go. So as much as there are lows in my life, and everyone would have that, I'm sure that persons watching would say, yes, we've been there, but we pushed through and we've gotten the results that we've prayed and we've worked so hard for.
Excellent, Renee. So Butters.
Yes, gal.
My last question, because
Yes.
I'm pretty sure my director is giving me a cookie eye somewhere around there. It's a man's world, and we live in it. True or false?
The
Or
world-
maybe we're in between.
The world is getting to being women right now. And I think as much as yes, women are making their way to the top if they are not there already. But as much as they say it's a man's world, I'm still very grateful to the guys who have helped us get to where we need to be. Because even for my drag racing team, it was a guy that gave me that opportunity to get where my all female race team is, or to the pinnacle at where we've been, to the places that we've traveled to represent, and I'm grateful to the guys that have not shown me that scowl. I mean, I've gotten no's, that's fine. You're always gonna get that door shut in your face. But I'm grateful to these guys that are able to raise us up to be better women, push us up, so that we in ourselves can then help other women and pull other women up with us. Because there's this misconception that when women get together, it's a cat fight. But I try my best not to be in that category. I believe that as women, we should help other women. We should.
Do you think that we do, though?
Sometimes you see some things happen. You
Yeah.
experience some things.
Yes.
I don't want to be the one to be like, yeah, and help nobody, and it's a crabs in a barrel mentality. They're gonna be persons that whatever they've been through,
Because it's human nature.
right? Whatever they've been through, they're a product of their environment or their situation. So if that's what they want to do, that has nothing to do with me. I'm going to continue doing what this little that I can do to ensure that women get to that pinnacle, to that top, and be the head of everything, the decision makers of everything.
So, Renee,
Yes, ma'am.
I just need for you, if you can, as we wrap up,
Yes.
what message do you have for women and girls? If you had to sum it up in a sentence or two, just based on your story and based on what's happening in the world and based on where we've been and where we're going.
Be authentically you. That's everything that you can think about in a nutshell. Be authentically you. And once you do that, persons will respect you for that, and persons will assist you to be better at whatever it is that you want to do.
Renee Ambrose, aka Butters. I wanted to call you that for a long time. Thank you so much for being here on The Story of a Woman. And thank you so much for being you and inspiring and, giving little girls hope and allowing some of their dreams to come to fruition. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.